I'm Alexandra Wensley. Welcome to AcquaTalks Online, the monthly educational forum hosted by the Estates at Aquilina, where we have thoughtful conversations and exchange ideas and views on issues important to all of us. We're proud of Aquilina's leadership in the real estate and travel industries, and we remain optimistic navigating the ongoing challenges of 2020. We embraced our broker community at the start of COVID and pivoted to providing daily news and emails and thoughts of inspiration and online events of motivation. For our buyers and residents, we remain innovative and relevant and are constantly thinking of how we can best serve our community. We're always asking ourselves, how can we better support our clients and brokers and the industry we love? We remain resourceful and nimble. We want the best and to seek the best solutions. The future will be better and brighter. We're thrilled that through AcquaTalks, we can bring you, our valued brokers and industry experts together to share lessons, listen, think, and take action. We will hear from 3 Miami power brokers who will share their thoughts about the factors influencing today's all-important luxury real estate market. Joining me will be Seth Kaufman, Darren Tansey, and Bento Caros. Seth Kaufman is the Chief Sales Officer at One Sotheby's International Realty. He oversees sales and growth for the company and ensuring the success of their agents, providing the highest level of service possible. Throughout his career spanning more than 2 decades, Seth has developed invaluable working relationships, earning respect from all of his peers. Seth is a certified speaker, trainer, and coach with the John Maxwell Organization. Our second panelist is Darren Tansey, the Executive Director of Luxury Sales at Douglas Elliman Real Estate. Darren currently manages and effectively markets over 200 million in active residential and commercial listings. He offers his clients a highly unique, dedicated, and cutting-edge premier service available in today's rapid growing industry. Our third panelist is Bento Caros. Bento is the Director of Luxury Sales at Bento Caros Group at Compass. He is a top producing advisor specializing in luxury residential real estate with a reputation for providing a personalized experience for each client. While building his real estate business, his uncompromising principle was and always will be to deliver exceptional service, unparalleled knowledge aligned with cutting-edge technology to his clients. Now, please help me welcome our 3 distinguished panelists, Seth Kaufman, Darren Tansey, and Bento Caros. Hello.
Hello. Thank you, Alex.
You are welcome. It's so great that you're all with us. Love each of your backdrops. Everyone looks great.
Everybody with its own digital personal backgrounds.
Yes, yes. So let's begin. Let's get right to it. So can you tell all of us where you're from, how you started your careers? I thought we would begin with Bento because I was reading about his background, and he was a professional tennis player. So Bento, come on, tell us more about that and how you transitioned to real estate.
Well, you took it a bit too far. Professional sounded so big. Very humble tennis player. Amateur trying to be a professional. Let's put it on this own words. So basically, formerly from Portugal, I had at a very early age in my life the opportunity to travel the world playing tennis. Really connected brilliantly, and it opened my international network at a very early age and setting the stage for a multi-country experience, let's say it this way. So at the very early age of 19, I really took off to live in Italy, in Milan, then Sao Paulo, and then from Sao Paulo to Lisbon, and from Lisbon to Miami. Always with my rackets on the bag, on the go, and they have helped me tremendously throughout my entire real estate career. you want me to elaborate a little bit more?
Yeah, no, that was great. How long have you been in Miami now?
I have been in Miami for 15 years.
Okay, yeah, it's a long time. It's great.
It,
Seth,
it looked
you
like
wanna-
it was yesterday. It really feels like the time flies in here because of the incredible weather, the incredible business opportunities, and also the fast-paced life of the city and emerging as a worldwide relevant city. It really is transforming it, and it makes it even faster for us that live and work here.
Yes, yeah, totally. I've been here since 2001, so kind of similar to you. And yeah, Miami's an amazing cosmopolitan city. Thank you, Bento. So Seth, you want to tell us where you're from?
Sure, absolutely. Thanks again, Alex. This is great. You lead a tremendous project, and all of us on the panel, I'm sure, are ecstatic about going to visit you and bringing our clients and our agents visiting. So congratulations to you and the team. Originally from New York, just outside New York City, in a small county called Rockland County. Born and raised there, went to college at West Virginia University. After West Virginia, it was either go into the city and join our friends that were stockbrokers and doing the like, or make a move down to South Florida. So my identical twin brother and myself picked up and moved down to South Florida, and we both were teachers. So we taught for a few years in South Florida. I was a pre-K and elementary school teacher with special education, and my brother was high school history, and did that for a few years, and then got into the real estate business via our uncle, who started a sales marketing company called ISG, International Sales Group. So I started my career with ISG and have been doing it since '97.
Wow, I love that. I think teaching is great. It's a great start, to then transition you into real estate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
Learned a lot through it.
Thank you, Seth. Darren, tell us where you're from and how you started your career.
Good morning, and thank you, Alex, and thank you to all at AcquaTalks. And I echo Seth. You guys are doing a great job over there, so it's a pleasure to be on today with both Seth and Bento. So I come from a small town as well, in the Midwest, actually. I'm from Burlington, Iowa, a town about 30,000 people in the southeast corner of Iowa. Grew up on the Mississippi River and went to college in Western Illinois University. Took my next 10 years up to Chicago, where I worked for Johnson & Johnson Pharmaceutical Sales, and that's where I really got a lot of my my professional training and education in terms of the business world. And I've been down in South Florida for the last 15 years selling real estate. So kind of stumbled upon this when living in Chicago. I bought and sold a few properties up there myself. Made a couple bucks, and I thought that I had everything figured out. So I said, okay, I'm just going to go down and do this professionally. As we all can know and laugh on this phone call, I completely failed and stumbled and fell on my face, but figured it out.
Yeah, well, congratulations to you all on your successes. It's so interesting hearing the backgrounds and how to transition into real estate. Actually, with that question, so what piece of advice would you give to people just starting out in real estate? Who wants to kind of take that one?
Well, I mean, I think that the first real estate is definitely one of the most challenging professions and that can exist. To be honest with you, it does not have any salaries. It does not come with any guarantees. So the first piece of advice is really understand your network and surround yourself and your sphere of influence, and make sure that you really can leverage upon that. That is the basis or the foundations of a successful career. And then it's a 24/7 hustle. It really does not come with any perks besides hard work in order to really achieve success on it.
If I could add to that, Alex, that's very well said, Bento. And what I would recommend is to consistently be thinking about offering as much value as possible. Obviously, we start with the basics. You need to have financial reserves for probably up to a year. But the easiest way to take it up a notch is surround yourself or be by the best people you emulate, people you want to be like, people that you want to strive to be. So if you can get into a company, whether it's Douglas Elliman, Compass, One Sotheby's, and you're amongst the best, get with the best, learn from the best, and soak it all in. Learn as much you can. Knowledge, it's an old cliche, but knowledge is truly power. So the more you know, the better you can serve. But add value, add as much, go above and beyond everything you do. Do it first class and go above and beyond.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Thanks, Seth. Darren, do you want to add any comment there?
I would just say that, look, this career, like the gentleman said, this is a very challenging career. I tell people that real estate sales is not for the faint of heart. Be cognizant of that for young professionals have come to me, and people, you always hear the same thing. I'm thinking about getting my real estate license, and as we stop smiling, then we have that conversation with them and let them know that this is more challenging than people think. You need to be a humble individual. You need to have humility. You need to understand that you will fail multiple times. And the adage about second place is the first loser. That is the case. On the positive side of that, you surround yourself with some of the most dynamic and educated individuals that have all of that we just talked about, and they have the ability to have overcome such great feats to get to the position that they are today. And we live in a fantastic part of the world where people come to vacation, and this is where we live and work.
Thank you, Darren. So now, COVID-19 has had such a profound impact on all of us. Our mindsets, our priorities have changed, especially for our buyers. So what lessons have you learned from the pandemic that you can share with all of us? Seth, do you want to begin?
Sure, of course. Just be prepared. I think we never know what life is going to throw at us. And it goes back to what I said before, just the more knowledge you have, the better. You got to be ready for huge shifts. You got to diversify your interests. Those of us that have built a career specializing in condominium and luxury condominium now are probably wish they spent a little more time in the single family home market, learning the different markets. Really, I think Bento said earlier, really using your network. And one of the advantages out of many at Sotheby's International Realty is the network. So the bonding experience amongst professionals that we share referrals and think outside the box type of tactics. And it's just, it's super important, whatever your network is, that you really trust in your network and continue to build that rapport.
Yes, thank you. We've been fortunate too, just because we already have all of this space, this beautiful outdoor backyard. So it's been great for us because that's what we're finding that people want now is more of the open space. We're in a country club on the water kind of type feel with all the amenities. So,
Yeah.
Bento, you want to comment there?
From a condo standpoint, I could not agree more that the Aquilina and the States of Aquilina and what Mr. Jules Trump has been doing and developing at the Aquilina with the Aquilina family, it's something incredible, unique, and a delight to work for and with. I remember when this year we were very fortunate to represent a buyer from Chicago that bought at the States of Aquilina at the North Tower, and he came without any preconceived notions about Aquilina or any other properties, and he was so welcomed by the Aquilina family, by Mr. Jules Trump himself, and he felt at home the minute he arrived to the hotel. We have seen a variety of options in the city, and it was a no-brainer for him that Aquilina would be really the best option. And even with COVID and with all the limitations, that actually became even more clear option and in terms of condominium if you want to be on an oceanfront property because of the endless amenities and the impeccable grounds. I mean, there's not one share that is turned, one cushion that is out of color. Everything is meticulously done, and that I have to give the credit not only to Mr. Jules Trump for an incredible professionalism and impeccable service, but also to the entire family at Aquilina. We really feel that the moment you step into the property, you feel that the level is above the rest. And we're very fortunate to have the opportunity to do it. But on the COVID and elaborating a little bit of what we learned, I mean, I think I could give you a 30-minute speech on it, just because we really had revisit all the preconceived notions of lifestyle, preconceived notions of the way we live, the way we treat others, the way we are actually balancing family and professionalism and our profession. All of those things really got a tremendous shock with COVID. And I think for the good, obviously Miami, again, it was paradise on earth, if that exists, or as close as possible to the best reality, because it really offers a lifestyle that it's incomparable or unmatched to all the other cities around the globe. So we were very fortunate.
Thank you. Darren, do you want to comment there about
COVID professionally?
what you learned?
COVID professionally, I think to point on that, has challenged each and every one of us to reinvent ourselves on a day-to-day basis. And it's not just whether we sell homes or we sell condos. It's really reinventing ourselves on a day-to-day basis on how we conduct ourselves in a professional manner. And it's a challenge that we all face every day, and we've all faced every single day since back in March when we initially had the shutdown, because none of us had this experience. There's no one out there that can give us the guidance, that can give us the coaching, that could give us any knowledge of what's going to happen on October 22nd. We simply just don't know. So, for those that have risen to see this extraordinarily active real estate market that we do have, very fortunately in South Florida, those are the individuals that have learned how to reinvent themselves and will continue to do so very successfully. So for those the participants that are listening in right now that may be looking at fourth quarter and what they've done so far in 2020 from a professional and sales standpoint, reach out to those that that are busy, that are successful because they're doing something right. There are several individuals that are down here in South Florida that are looking at incredible projects like that of Aqualina and maybe some others that are in South Florida. They're here to buy, and they're here to take advantage of all of the wonderful things that we have here in South Florida to leave wherever they're from, whether that be another country or whether that be another state in our country.
Okay. So Darren, that'll take me to the next question. So what's the biggest challenge you think in real estate at the moment?
I would say the unknown. The unknown with that is the kind of the perfect storm or unperfect storm that we're all facing so far this year. That being, the very obvious with COVID and this, this unprecedented pandemic that each of us that are on this call as both professionals and as human beings, to be very frank, do not really know what is going to happen tomorrow. We mix that in, obviously, with what happens in South Florida when it comes to the changing weather and hurricanes and everything we deal with. And oh yes, there is a presidential election in the United States of America right now that is unprecedented in itself. So I would say the most challenging fact that we face on a day-to-day basis is when our clients ask us questions. What do you think my investment dollars are how are they going to be impacted by COVID or the presidential race? That's a very challenging question, and we need to be honest individuals and speak honestly to them, not seeing through rose-colored glasses at all the time, and educate them on their purchases and really do the homework and the research and data so those same clientele will come back to you in the future.
Yeah. Seth Abento, do you want to comment there on some of the challenges we're facing now in luxury real estate?
Sure. Like Darren said, I think the fear of the unknown is definitely there. But I think for the majority on this, listening in on this, are agents that take their business seriously, obviously. And I think one of the biggest challenges we all face can be at times justifying our fee to our sellers and maybe even to our buyers. But it goes back to what I said earlier. If you're constantly over-delivering on value, constantly over-delivering on service, be the best version of yourself you can be in this business, learn how to negotiate better. There is no better skill in the world for everyone on this call to learn more about than communication. Communication is by far the biggest skill that will get you anywhere in any profession. So the more you can learn about communication, the better you can hone your skills at communication, the better you're going to be. Once you do that, And once you become an expert in negotiation and especially communication, you'll never have to justify your fee because people are going to be walking ambassadors out there for you. You're going to have people out on the street telling people how great Bento is, how great Darren is, and they're going to get referrals. And no one's ever going to question their fee because they know they're going to perform at a top-notch level.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So moving on to my next question, and anyone in the audience, please, there's a lot of you out there, feel free to write in the chat any questions and I'll present that to our panelists. But so we're all on Zoom and we've been on Zoom for months. So, Zoom is the new norm now. And the number of Zoom meetings have skyrocketed around the world. Darren, before you got on, you said you were on a Zoom call already. So there's so much happening on Zoom. And so using technology. So what effect has technology made on real estate? Because I know it is all about meeting your clients in person, but how have you adapted and how has technology affected real estate?
I really felt that actually at that point, Compass was really on the forefront, and then we're really being able to optimize the tools and the technology advancements that Compass has brought to the real estate world. And then it has been a big advantage for us. We really had all our tools available in order to make them and implement them during COVID. I felt that the most challenging point was really the face-to-face interaction, but with all the technology tools that we had, also that the developers and most of us, the ones that really provide and add value, leaning on the comment from Seth that, we really need to make sure that you add value to the transaction, to your sellers that you represent. Most of us were extremely well prepared in terms of digital content to provide a good digital experience to all our buyers overseas and in other states. With that being said, that's the reason why some of us are really being very busy. Not only we did have a very diversified set or a very diversified portfolio, again, pointing out to Seth's comments earlier that when you're heavily dependent on condos or single family homes or certain areas, one of the key points of success during the pandemic is being exacerbated is really have a diversified set of listings or a diversified portfolio where you can really be not be dependent upon the foreign, the Latin buyers, for example, for the oceanfront condos in Sunny Isles, or you are not dependent on snowbird movements. So you really have to diversify. And the tools that we already had in place as a value proposition to all our clients, mostly our sellers, obviously, was a technology-enabled platform and technology or digital content for each of the listings that we represent in a very professional and complete way. So really, we have completed now, my group has completed over 20 sales that were all performed digitally, that the clients did not come, the buyers either representing buyers or sellers, where when we were the sellers, we had Matterports, we had professional videos, we had pictures, floor plans, and we were able to do virtual showings for the buyers. And then the buyer's side, really providing that insight and that great knowledge and deep market value in order to make them comfortable with their acquisitions. And that has happened throughout. I mean, I was just 2 days ago, as I mentioned, when you asked earlier, when you were at Aquilina, I was just doing a virtual tour in Aquilina 2 days ago for a buyer that is in Brazil, which is one of our biggest challenges is, in my opinion, is the very strong dollar for the big, and we're heavily dependent on foreign markets. And this strong dollar has been penalizing severely, mostly the condo market.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Seth or Darren, do you want to comment on technology?
Yeah, I'll add to that. At One Sotheby's, we've invested so heavily in technology, and we just built a over $500,000 website. We have every piece of technology possible to support our agents. But what I would say to everyone on here is don't be a servant to your technology. Make your technology a servant to you. Mm-hmm. So what that means is use the technology to support your business. you want to, as an agent and a luxury agent or trying to break into luxury, you want to free up your time where you're doing money-making activities. You don't want to be spending time on administrative activities. So if you can use the technology to quickly post to social media, to keep record of your transaction management, that's what you want to look at. You want to free up your time and spend your time wisely on money-making activities, which would include prospecting, networking, going on listing appointments, working with buyers. The more time you spend on the technology component or the administrative component, is less time you're out there building your business.
Thank you.
That's very true.
Darren, do you want to comment on technology? What are you using now and how it's affecting real estate?
You know, there was a question that came up, how to break into the luxury market. I think this is a great question. The guys have covered technology pretty well. So I want to jump to this question because I get this question a lot. First off, I would establish what luxury is to this particular individual or any individual that would say luxury. Luxury to some people may say $1 million and up. Luxury to some may be $5 million and up. So first and foremost, establish where you actually work in the areas that you know, and you establish what luxury is. And then in order to, how do I break into the luxury market? And people ask, how do I start to sell multi-million-dollar homes? My question to them is always, have you absolutely mastered selling non-luxury, whatever non-luxury is? And if you haven't mastered that yet, you need to master that first, because you don't get into real estate and start selling $20 million houses. There's no one that does that. Some people get lucky because they have a friend or they have a family member, but you know, to be realistic, people in this industry have worked, you know, countless years, decades to sell those types of properties. So master those first. You will get there. Trust me. Work hard.
Great point.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that came in from Tony. Thank you for that. And we're getting some great comments from everyone on the side, and 100% agree, and great points. So good chatting. Continue with the question. So moving on from that, social media. Everyone's talking about it. It's so important. It's a way for us to engage and connect with our target audience. We find our most popular platform to connect is Instagram. It's worked really well for the estates at Aqualina. We have a great marketing team, innovative posts, do a lot of videos, very creative. LinkedIn, we're trying to use more. And for our brokers that have been following us and watching AcquaTalks online, a lot of the marketing experts we've had on, they're all like, LinkedIn. But it is a little hard to break into LinkedIn. So I would love it if you could share a little bit about the social media platforms you're using at your different agencies and what's the most preferred platform.
Would make your words my words. Instagram is the preferable platform for real estate. It is the one I use the most. It's very effective, and you can use it strategically. So if I would have to say something, is that really use your social media in a very strategic, meticulous way. Social media can help you, but can also bring you down. So it really is a reflex of how you present yourself, how you represent your products, and how you represent your clients, your sellers, and the developers. So I see very often social media as a way of, or I see people using it in very perverse ways, in very unprofessional ways. We try to have a very strategic and organic, but very meticulous set of rules and professionalism when using the social media. And the channels definitely, in my case, are Instagram connected with Facebook, where you can really use a lot of geofencing and strategic marketing opportunities and target the audiences that you wanna specifically reach. And LinkedIn, we are in the process. I think LinkedIn was built not with the social network effect that the Instagram had. Essentially, was much more on providing a platform for professional hires and then connectors of industries. But it's a great tool as well, especially at a higher level. I feel, and I have done, and I have kept great network with LinkedIn, where you really connect, and then you can also target at the much higher level, at the C-suite levels, and also keep overseas relationships with highly respected professionals. And you also can have a much more granular analytics in order to prepare your marketing initiatives through LinkedIn. So I have been, social media has been actually Instagram linked with Facebook as well as LinkedIn.
Yeah, we at Sotheby's, we run the gamut. So we do everything from Instagram to Facebook to LinkedIn, YouTube. And one thing I would say is video is getting more and more important. The more video you can do, the better. Get a YouTube channel, get on TikTok. I know that sounds crazy, but get on TikTok. My daughter, my 7-year-old daughter, all she wants to do is be TikTok famous. But get on these channels and let people see your authenticity and how you are. And because people want to see the human side. So I recommend to the agents, I recommend to people who ask me this question is mix your professional life with your personal life. Obviously you gotta be mindful and you gotta be careful how far you go on the personal side, but people, your clients, brokers you work with want to see you're human. They want to see what's underneath that shell. So I think it's important to show that personal side and let these clients know and be engaging. You know, if people are writing posts on their pages, clients engage in their posts, respond, interact. You can't expect them to do that to you if you're not doing that out there. So be very responsive and engaging.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great starting point too to build that connection and engagement. Okay, Darren, I'm going to take this question to you. So you all lead, after reading all your bios and looking you up, a team of agents. So what are the top 5 things are you focusing on or asking your agents to focus on? Doesn't have to be 5, but just so it's good to have a number.
I would say, you know, first and foremost, I always, you know, try to empower everyone that I work with to have a very firm analytical understanding in terms of the types of properties that we are selling, we are renting, we are listing. Knowing that data is vitally important to survive in today's world. You know, with the technology that we talked about before. The renters, the buyers, the sellers are more educated than ever before because of the technology that's out there. And I would say most realtors, I'm sorry, but most realtors are not as educated as the buyers are out there. So with that said, I challenge the agents that I work with to be one step ahead of them. So they need to provide value going into that listing presentation or that meeting that first time with that buyer, because if you know less than your buyer, then chances are you're not going to get your phone ringing again by that particular individual. You know, that's vitally important. Understanding the trends of where things are at, again, you know, in the times that we're in right now, is to truly understand, you know, where people are buying, what they're doing, you know, how deals are getting done, how everything is being structured, you know, to really have that additional education. You know, and I'll give you 3. So last but not least, I would say is general selling skills. We are salespeople, and realtors are out there. I think they tend to forget that. Realtors, while I do believe firmly in social media and things like TikTok and, you know, how we can reinvent ourselves from a technological standpoint, we are not movie stars. We sell real estate. We're salespeople. So remembering key facets like feature benefit selling, because at the end of the day, the people that are coming to us to sell their houses or to buy real estate from us, they're leaning on us as experts in our field and for our knowledge base and to understand. So people have money in their pockets. They, you know, they want to have an understanding as, you know, what should I do and where should I go, because that question comes up every day.
Yeah. A good point. We're not movie stars. I like that. But I also like what Seth was saying too about TikTok and learning from your 7-year-old. You can probably learn so much from her on these technology.
Yeah, I'm not doing those dances, that's for sure, but I am learning a lot from her. That's right.
Okay. Does anyone else want to comment? What do you do differently or focusing on with your agents?
I would love to, if you don't mind.
Great, please. Love to.
Sorry, I feel like I'm. I think number 1, time blocking, setting your schedule, being intentional about your schedule. Maybe on Sunday evening, looking at the week ahead and time block for the activities that I mentioned earlier, prospecting, calling, social media, the administrative stuff. Set this time that you're going to devote every day to certain tasks and get them done. Building your referral network. These guys on here know how important that is, and reaching out and building this network. I guarantee you that many of us probably now are saying to each other, you know, I really wish I worked those Northeast realtors harder in the last couple of years for referrals than I have. But that's going to be a continuous cycle. So really work your referral market, reach out. I know, like I said earlier, with One Sotheby's and the Sotheby's International Realty Network, we have 23,000 associates around the world that we can pull from. So we're in constant contact with our network and doing events now virtually, which is great for networking. Intentional about your social media and getting your face out there, showing people what you do day in, day out. It's very important. As Darren said, crucial to know your market stats. I can't speak to this enough. Everyone on here should know their market. It's a difference, I say all the time, of standing in Starbucks and someone saying, hey, Seth, how's the market? And me responding, oh, the market's great. We're getting a lot of New Yorkers coming down. What about you? Instead of saying, oh, actually this market in Sunny Isles, we're at a year over year, we're at a 6% increase in condo sales. We're up 27% in single family home sales. It's a seller's market right now for single family homes. When you have that information, it sets you apart from the rest. And it's not going to make the deal for you, but it's going to make that client think, you know what, this guy or gal really knows what she or he is talking about.
Yeah, totally agree. Information is knowledge. I mean, and to give them all that factual information.
And the last thing, Alex, like I keep saying, I sound like a broken record, but learn to communicate better. Communication skills. Learn to be an effective communicator.
So you're an effective communicator. So what have you done through the years? Is there one thing? Did you do Toastmasters or anything you could shed light on and help everyone else?
So I became a John Maxwell certified speaker trainer coach, and right, I think that helps. But I've practiced, and I've always stood in front of large groups and gave presentations and talks and done these. But the more you could do that, the better. And that could start with small groups. It could start with your family. But just get out in front of people and talk to people. Learn that you need to become a better listener. You need to become a better listener, because once you become a better listener, you're going to be able to tell your prospect, your client, your co-broker, whoever it is, the things they want to hear. That's crucial.
And picking up on Seth's comments, I truly believe that. And there is one quote that is very simple, but tells you a lot, which is learn to earn. Okay, the more you learn, the more you earn. And this is actually picking on one of on Adriana Vargas' questions of favorite books. I just finished two very interesting books. One is Limitless from Jim Quick. It's basically unlimiting your power. And I truly share that with everybody around me, not only my team, my group, but everybody that I can touch and then can give any advice, is that to really explore your boundaries, your limits. You need to really go beyond. We use a very limited percentage of our capacities and capabilities because we're always very comfortable. We need to be outside of our comfort zones, and the best way is really by reading, by learning, in order to bring to the table. I could not agree more with my fellow panelists of really bring value again. It's the knowledge that you bring to every single conversation. Even the most informal conversation at a coffee shop can turn into a multi-million-dollar deal if you really bring all your knowledge and insights. Don't be shallow. Don't be just average. You really need to propel yourself. And another book that I just finished today, actually, as a matter of fact, this morning, is Principles from Ray Dalio. It's a lesson in life, not only from the life principles that he gives you, but also the corporate side, the way to structure. Even if you have a small operation in terms of numbers, in terms of people, always try to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you or that want to be smarter than you. Always surround yourself with people that really want to engage and be better versions of themselves. And those things are really things that bring results on a long-term basis. And yes, answering to Jenna, Limitless is from Jim Quick, not Kim Quick, it's Jim Quick.
Yeah, no, thank you. At Aquilina, we have a bedside reading program and a book club. And so we give complimentary books, digital and physical books, nonfiction, fiction, and a lot of business books. So to anyone listening, please, you can email us at sales@estates@aquilina.com, and we can put you on the bedside reading on the download book club. And it's great. It's free books. And I agree. Yeah. Power is knowledge. So continue reading. But that's such a good question. Favorite book. Also, how about a favorite podcast? I listen to a lot of podcasts. So Darren, Seth, do you want to share any insights with us on your books or podcasts? Darren, do you want to take it?
I was recently given Principles by Ray Dalio, and I've just started it. Fortunately, I've been really busy sending emails and sending out offers over these last couple of weeks. So for who's listening, who gave me the book, thank you. I will definitely get to it. Seth had mentioned something that I just wanted to throw this out there for a quick quote, is that when he had said, make sure that you're listening. And one of my favorite quotes, it goes something like this, is that if you speak too much, you can't hear what others have to say. And if you can't hear what others have to say, you can't hear what they're trying to tell you, and you have to really truly understand. So, for the salespeople out there, there's a time to where you listen, and it's the art of listening, and it's the art of just waiting for them to continue to talk. And if there's a silence there that is so uncomfortable that you want to just jump in and say something, because we're all like type A people and you want to jump in there and say something, just zip it. Practice that. You'd be surprised at what you can learn.
Yeah. Karita chimed in, so true. And yeah, I agree. It's the art of listening. It's hard. It's very hard. Seth, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was just going to piggyback on that and talk about some of the podcasts and books that I just finished. I love to read, but I find it's better for me right now doing Audible. So I'm really, really into Audible. So I just finished Atomic Habits, James Clear, amazing book. I think that would work well for every single person on this call. Atomic Habits, James Clear. Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, great book. Really, really great book. Never Split the Difference on negotiating with Chris Voss, the former FBI hostage negotiator. Fantastic. Quick reads, easy. The Audible, the narrators are fantastic. Many are the authors themselves. And I reread 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, one of my favorite books of all time, which is Stephen Covey. I highly recommend 7 Habits if you have not read it. And podcasts, John Maxwell, I listen to Tim Ferriss, but mostly Audible.
Yeah, no, I love all the books you mentioned. And Atomic Habits, I met a gentleman on the plane and he told me about that. So I got the Audible, and you know what? It's also good to do with your children. So maybe 10 and up, to get them to create these habits. But I think it's good for all of us. So those with young kids, yeah, it's very good. Good tip.
Darren, I find myself, and after reading Limitless, actually, I made a block myself, both in the morning and in the evening. I take the time in the morning to read. It's 30 minutes and 30 minutes at night, and 30 minutes at night because I have kids, and one is at 9 years old. It's a perfect bonding time. He reads his book, I read mine. It's fabulous. It really is. It's a very bonding and nice time with them. I made that very clear. I turn off my notifications. I turn off my or mute my phone, and you make the time. It's worth it.
Yes, no, great recommendation for all of us. Turn off the phones at night. But Bento, I want to congratulate you on, you sold at Aquilina. So we thank you so much. We so enjoy working with you. But so can you tell everybody who's watching, what are your recommendations for how to sell the estates at Aquilina? And maybe what were the unique selling points that helped close the deal?
It was so natural that you won't believe. So, and I'm going to try to be as quick as possible, but this is just a great example of how the power of Aquilina and the power of the culture and impeccable service and grounds make the clients feel that that's the right product for them. My client is from Chicago, was planning to move down permanently, is about to retire. and he wanted a large property. He wasn't really sure about location. He wasn't really sure about if he wanted a house or a condo. So he called me and said, Bento, I'm coming down for 3 days and I'm arriving on Sunday night. And I'm staying at the Aqualina Hotel. And it was just like interesting that in coincidence, he booked Aqualina Hotel. So I reached out to Adriana Vargas, an amazing inside sales, right, with the States. And she made sure that the client would have a 5-star service from the moment that it arrived until the moment that it left. We had a great presentation at day one at the States of Aqualina. Then we went further to see many other projects, all of them. I would say I could name it, but would not be necessary. But were 2 very intense days. The service, the amenities, and the value proposition that especially the States of Aqualina North Tower is offering with a full turnkey luxury living package, the level of the finishes, the level of details, and the sophistication of the lifestyle that it will be provided really made it and sold it by itself. I only brought the knowledge and the macroeconomic vision to my client. I really had to only elaborate and made sure that he would understand the dynamics that were happening, and that where we were seeing the price per square foot of the acquisition, as well as where we would see the future value of the property based on real comparables and real assets or real comparable assets in South Florida. And the decision was done in 3 days. Was a beautiful unit, $6.4 million. We cannot wait. And it was interesting because right in the middle of COVID, I kept a very intense communication with my client, and it aligns with what we were talking about before, is that you don't disappear, right? When stress happens, the stress test, you really need to step up to the game. So I made sure that my client was feeling comfortable, not only from the acquisition standpoint, but also that we were here to help if he needed. And throughout our many conversations, he really understood that it was a great decision. Because even in a situation like we had today, you would still have those grounds downstairs to walk. We're seeing the Aqualina gradually opening up the entire amenity set, and it's uncomparable and unmatched with all the other ocean fronts, unless you are in a big property like the project we're developing out west at Kai Estates, where you have 2 acres of land. You can have your private owned pool, your private tennis court, or your paddle court, your basketball court, where you really have an oasis inside within your house. You really don't have what the Aqualina offer. So I really have to be very thankful to Mr. Jules Trump that played an amazing and organic role on it, but also to Michael and Adriana to really help me seal the deal beautifully, and also keep the communication very intense and happening throughout this process with my client. Never, ever got an email that was not responded immediately from Aqualina. And that's very important, especially at these high profile clients. With these high profile clients are highly demanding. But every time during the pandemic that I had sent, or my client sent an email directly to Michael or Adriana, it was immediate response. And that's what you expect from the caliber of developer that Mr. Jules Trump at Aqualina family is.
Thank you, Bento. What a great story. I love that. Yeah, you closed in 3 days. That's a wonderful story. But I think also the key too, it's all about the customer service, providing something great for our clients. But we have a lot of more questions from our audience. So Yancey's asking, many brokers are afraid of asking for the sale. So Darren or Seth, if you want to chime in here, what advice would you give them to overcome that?
I think it's a tough part of the deal. I know that it's very hard for some people to just flat out ask, but your clients are expecting that. I think you set yourself up for success in your presentation, the way you treat your client, what you show them, and that goes back to that listening part. I mean, I can tell you one thing for certain. If somebody's looking for a luxury condominium in South Florida, they're going to go to Aqualina. So and going back to what Bento said, it's a first class operation from start to finish. When you get out at Valet, you are treated with respect and you are shown that first class way all the way through, meeting Michael, meeting Yancy, Adriana, Marla. Jules comes down, and it gives this warm, inviting feeling. So asking for the check at Aqualina is probably a lot easier than asking for the check at other places. But I think, look, you got to be smart about it. You be authentic about asking for the sale, and you say, nice and calmly, why don't we wrap this up today? Why don't we get this on the books so you can start enjoying and have peace of mind that you absolutely found the right place.
Mm-hmm. Darren, you want to comment?
Yeah, I've used in the past, and I've heard others use it similarly before. And I think the most effective way that I've had this experience is that I've just asked the buyers I'm dealing with is that if you wanted to wait on this decision, and if somebody else came to buy this today, would you be upset about that? And if they say yes, then you put it back in their lap and say, well, you realize that we are in an active market right now, so it's going to be up to you whether you run the risk of losing said piece of real estate. And if they say no, then your question to them is that, well, why not? And then you don't talk and you listen and you let them either talk themselves out of it or you let them sell themselves, because most of us as human beings do like to sell ourselves, also like to have a little push, but we need to sell ourselves on that. So, we've had a lot of great communication today ourselves on this panel with the panelists and also with some of these great questions. But it all goes back just to some of the selling basics that all of us need to realize and understand. I agree with Seth. It's a very challenging question to finally get to that point, to ask for the sale, to ask that girl out on the date, to ask whatever that may be.
True.
But feel confident in yourself. They're standing with you for a reason. Feel confident to ask for that, because chances are they're waiting for you to ask that question.
Yeah, great advice. Another question came in. Your favorite platforms for advertising. So how do you get those clients? Anyone want to comment there?
Social media.
Okay.
Social media, Facebook targeted ads as much as possible now. I know they pulled the reins a little bit on that. You could do Instagram advertising. You could do LinkedIn advertising, as Bento alluded to earlier. There's no better way to identify and get to the C-suite than through LinkedIn. So I think it's more expensive, but LinkedIn, targeted sites. But it's not just about the advertising, Alex. It's a lot more than that. It's about having the right ad. But what happens if they click there? Where does it go? Does it go to the right proper landing page? Does it say enough about your service that you offer? Does it talk about what they want to see? So it's a lot more than just the ad. And that's why, in my opinion, you need to talk to professionals and people that are familiar with driving traffic and converting that traffic into genuine leads. Super important.
Yeah, great advice.
I always say and share that we're not really shooting everywhere. We're snipers in our markets. We have to have a clear vision. We have to have a diversified portfolio, but you really need to understand where are you positioning yourself and align this marketing strategies and use the platforms to your benefit. But be a sniper, not really like shooting everywhere. You really need to be very strategic the way you approach that. Otherwise, you're going to just spend money. The money is going to fly and no results will come.
Okay, thank you. Another question came in from Anna Novia. She says, hi guys, hope all is well. What does your morning routine typically look like? It's a good question. Anyone want to share?
My alarm goes off at 5:15 Monday through Friday and 6 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. I have no children. I have a dog that loves me very much, but it's early bird gets the worm, as they say. It's very, very true. Be the first one to get out in this industry. You'd be surprised, 9 out of 10 of your competition most likely is going to be sleeping by the time you get up. So you get out there and you start making preparations for your day the night before. You start to prepare yourself that day of in terms of what are you looking to accomplish. I am an old-fashioned guy, so this is what my notes look like. Top secret. This is what I need to accomplish today. That's just today. So have a plan. You can't go into a football game, a basketball game, and anything without a plan of action. So knowing what you're going to accomplish that day, that week, that month, that quarter, set up your mindset, get up early in the morning. And yeah, my day's 5:15 until about 11:30 at night.
Pretty much up around 5:36, and get dressed. If my wife needs, she'll probably say I never do, but if my wife needs help with my daughter, I'm there. If not, I either go to the gym, less recently because of COVID, or I'm taking a 5-mile walk. And that's when I listen to my Audible. So I'm banging out 2 things at once, and it really clears my head. It gives me a chance to think about things for the day, be intentional, truly intentional about our day. It's very important. Get back, shower, get to work, get my day started. But today I came in 9 o'clock, had a recruiting call, 10 o'clock, my Fort Lauderdale office meeting, 11 o'clock, AcquaTalks, 12 o'clock would be talking to Darren and Bento about joining One Sotheby's. Then the afternoon is filled with other meetings. So
We have 4 minutes to go, Alex.
Love how you got that in. Yeah, you guys are up next.
I already had a showing today at 8:30. What's everybody else doing?
I mean, Darren is taking it too serious. Okay, my day is going to look a little more relaxed. So my day is very simple. 6:30 wake up, really pep my kids. I bring them to school. I love that time with them. I'm back. I have my green juice normally. I have my power read of 30 minutes, shower, and basically start working. Until that moment, I try to not be connected with social media, with emails, with things that always are there. I try to finish as early as possible my day to have my tennis. I play tennis 5-6 times a week. So I set up all the tennis and try to coordinate my showings and my business related matters between 8:30 and then 5-6. Obviously, we don't have times, we don't have schedules. So most of the times the tennis goes blows out, and then I have to, dinners with clients and showings and so on and so forth. But the routine is that one, and make sure that I always try to put my kids to sleep and have the power read with them actually at night.
Okay, thank you. So I'm just going to get to, we have just a couple of minutes left. This is in from Anna Elizabeth Diaz. Any advice for new agents looking for these high profile clients and building their database? A little similar, Selma is saying, you're very inspiring. I'm a new agent. I want to be hired on your team. What should I do? So to get clients and to be part of your teams, what do you suggest? Any advice?
So look, I think to break into the higher level market, you got to surround yourself with people that are in that market. You have to run in those circles. So if that means starting to go to polo matches, talking to parents at golf clubs that your kids belong to, soccer matches, you need to get around the circles of the people you want to do business with and embed yourself in those circles. There's no easy fix to this. There's no easy ad targeting. And then all of a sudden, like Darren said earlier, you're doing a $20 million deal. Probably not going to happen. Embed yourself in the right circles, learn about your market, become a better communicator, and you got this.
Started my career with 10 listings. Those were rental listings between $900 and $1,800 a month. Treated those rental listings like they were $9 million homes and $18 million homes. Once those individuals rented those apartments, I went to find other people to rent other apartments. And I followed up with those people that rented those apartments because many of those people actually transitioned into purchasing small condos. And those people purchasing small condos introduced me to purchasing bigger homes. Have patience. This is a long game. There's Seth said it best. There's no quick fix to this. It just doesn't happen. People do get lucky from time to time, but it takes a lot of work to get to the level to where many of the people do aspire to be. I mean, and all of us on here, we each and every day we're aspiring to be better professionals in every facet of what we do on a day-to-day basis. So there's no ceiling to this.
It's hard work and uncompromised communication and dedication. I mean, don't leave your clients emails for tomorrow. Don't answer everything. Be on top of it, and then be responsive, be effective, be knowledgeable, and be there. And it's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yep. Well, thank you. We're right at noon. This was such a lively conversation, and echoing the sentiments in the chat from everybody saying they really enjoyed it. So thank you to the three of you, because I know you're so busy. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing you at Aqualina soon. Thank you again. And thank you to everybody watching. Please stay safe, be well at home, and stay connected. And we'll see you at the next AcquaTalks.